So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about training through an injury. 80% of runners get injured training for an event or just running in general, and yours truly included in that. This past weekend I was running on a trail in Oregon, and I stumbled on a route that I didn't see, and I had to stomp with my right leg really hard in order to catch myself from falling. And immediately I knew something had happened to my hamstring. It didn't feel really painful at the time, and I was able to run and get out of the trail back to my car, but I wasn't sure exactly how much damage had occurred. And this made me think about what my patients go through and this whole idea of risk versus reward. Whether you should continue training through an injury for an event that you have scheduled later on in the year. For example, in my case, I decided to sign up for a marathon on December 2nd. I have about 4 months to train for it. However, soft tissue injuries, anything related to muscle and tendon, which is what happened to me, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for it to fully heal. And that's just for the muscle injury itself to heal. That doesn't take into consideration the deconditioning and the secondary things that might happen after you sustain one injury. One of the risks involved with continuing to train through an injury is that you may actually sustain another injury. A good example of this is 10 years ago, I sprained my left ankle running on the sidewalk in New York City, and I tripped, didn't see a crack in the street, and I rolled my ankle. I was able to run and walk off of it. It actually didn't hurt me very much, and I continued to train and run through it because it wasn't painful. However, subsequently I developed a left hip issue, and I realize now, after being a PT and learning a lot more about running and injuries, that there's actually delayed glute activation associated with ankle sprains. And that's probably what happened because it changed the movement pattern, the motor recruitment of my hip, and which probably led to some dysfunction and irritated my left hip even though my ankle was pain-free. So that's a good example of robbing Peter to pay Paul, basically, or training through an injury and then developing some secondary problem. And so you'll see a lot of runners have sort of chronic issues, or they sustain one injury after the other because they never fully rehab the first one. So that is one risk to training through an injury. And for every person, you're going to have to do a cost-benefit analysis